are you here? Christopher Smith posed this question to open his Vocation chapel last fall. This question shook me, because if he had called on me for a response, my answer would be, well, I don't know. I'm just lucky. Maybe, right? And if I stopped there, this would be a pretty lackluster and uninspiring vocation talk today. But this question kept coming to the top of my mind as I was preparing for today. One reason that this question, why are you here, has been weaponized in today's world. I feel that this question assumes that there is some mathematically objective way to measure why you are here or why you shouldn't be here, that either you count or you do not. And if you do not count, then you do not belong. And frankly, that logic has me worried. And these days, unlike Mary Oliver, I find it increasingly challenging to sing. But let me ask a different question, which I think frames it a little differently. How are you here? What are the circumstances that allowed you to arrive here in this place at this time? One aspect of my research is building mathematical models to describe our natural world around us. These models can have the property of what we call deterministic, meaning their solution can be described at all points in time and state given an initial starting point. This framing is an enormously compelling model for life, our vocation, and how we are here. We are born, and we just follow the solution that our lives will take. But I think this is an overly simplistic view. To paraphrase the statistician George Box, all models are wrong, but some are useful. We often underestimate the power of luck, what I call stochasticity, or what some may call providence in our lives. I owe a good bit of luck to how I'm here from a hallway conversation with a graduate school colleague more than 18 years ago. This colleague interviewed for this position that I have the previous year. Well, he didn't get the position. He saw the ad posted again, and he thought I'd be a better fit for the position, and he encouraged me to apply. Sometimes luck doesn't work out in our favor. At the age of 11, my father died from a hard-fought battle with cancer. However, I had the fortune to be the youngest of a family of 8, so I had the loving arms of an extended family to encourage me to where I am today. Having all those siblings and extended family and, welcomed, unwelcomed advice kept me supported through some challenging times. We just can't ignore the power of luck to how we are today. Luck, though, is not the only component to how I am here, and I offer that risk also plays a role. I view risk as the willingness to take chances, and that is how we uncover our vocation. The end of my sophomore year of college, I was disillusioned with my chosen major, which we'll rename nameless to protect the innocent majors. But I wanted to make the switch to mathematics. I needed a summer job, so I was furiously applying for research positions. One that I applied for was a position in environmental mathematics all the way across the country in Washington State University, which sounded interesting to me, but I didn't know much else about the topic. But I applied and was accepted. Back then, you didn't have any opportunity to meet the people you'd be working with until you just showed up on the first day. There were no Zoom interviews or other remote means of communication. I was worried that if I hated the experience, I would need to change my major again, and I would just waste a summer. That was a huge risk. In the end, it was a net positive experience and foundational in how I understand the ways in which mathematics and data are applied in context. So I can't deny how risk, the ability to take chances, and luck, the ability to have large swings in and against your favor, go hand in hand. But I think there is a third component here to this model, freedom. And I want to be careful how I define freedom. What I mean is freedom from worry. As you may infer, I worry a lot. Some worries are big and complex, the environment, politics. Some are more personal. Are my kids thriving? Can I manage the weekly household expenses without going bust? Will my next class I teach in 20 minutes go well? Did I work through everything on my to-do list? These worries can be self-imposed, but society may also unfairly and unjustly add to our worries, limiting our ability to take individual risks. I argue it is in all of our interest to ensure that all of us enjoy freedom from worry. I realized this 5 years ago when our family traveled to Finland and lived there for 6 months. One of my kids was having a mental health crisis, and we needed to urgently connect to a therapist in the town where we lived. If that didn't work, we seriously considered returning home and ending the experience early because it was just too stressful for the entire family. Part of my worry was the cost. Ongoing mental health treatment is a huge financial burden for an individual, even when covered by medical insurance. We imagined that the cost for services in a foreign country with no local insurance, not being citizens, was just too expensive. But it was a risk we had to take. When calling the local clinic to schedule, we asked upfront, how much will this cost? And the person stated very candidly, and you can imagine a Finnish deadpan, there is no cost to you. All children are important to us, and it is in our best interest to make sure they are healthy, which includes their mental health. I just can't tell you the relief to hear that. My kids' needs were seen. We were counted. The fact that we could have a freedom from worry to receive the help we needed to live the life we want, and more importantly, that freedom from worry was validated by society, that was a moment of ordinary grace. Having a freedom from worry opens up the ability to uncover who we are as a person and, in turn, uncover our vocation. Freedom from worry is not an individual action, but something I argue should be a collective good. So how am I here? Well, one aspect of my vocation, and I argue for many of my colleagues, is to create spaces and experiences with freedom from worry so you can discover which factors of luck, risk, and freedom combine to make who you are as a person, and in turn, help you uncover your vocation. You are here. We are here because you count, you belong, you matter. We are on this journey together. And in my head, my model for this journey is just a single equation. On one side of the equation is you, and on the other side of the equal sign are 3 factors that need to be determined: the combination of luck, risk, and freedom. These combinations are all unknown, and that is the mystery we need to uncover for ourselves. This model is an example of what we call in mathematics an undetermined equation, which I think that's a poor characterization that doesn't reveal its superpower. You see, undetermined equations have an infinite number of solutions, or as I see it, an infinite number of ways to combine luck, risk, and freedom together to become you. There is no single way to uncover your vocation. And that, I think, is worth singing about. Thank you.